Hello guys, it's Coop back at you again with another video, another one of these. Is this better? Is that not better? Crazy videos. I've just come off the back of the Sekiro video, 40,000 views in less than a week. That went mental, 700 comments. It's just gone crazy. So I thought I'd put a sheet on my head and make sure I get some good audio quality for this one. And what the hell, Coop? Really? You're going to put Risk of Rain 2 up against Anthem? Well, we've got a bit of time to explain that one because we're on an Anthem load screen. You may have seen the article that came out from Kotaku recently. A guy spoke to 19 BioWare developers. It turned out that 6 years, 5 years of that was spent on bad decision making. The last 18 months were only used to develop the actual game. Stuff like the traversal flying mechanic was taken in, taken out. God, that explains a lot, with the fact that it just feels like a tack on. There's no missions surrounding it. All of the contents had to be strung out. All of the armors have had to be diluted down and put in this rotary stupid ass shop that's just terrible. All of the sort of generic weapon shapes and types, it's all just becoming plain and obvious now that this was a rush job, last minute job, that those 6 years were just down the pan. BioWare and EA just misconnected the whole way through the development process. What a disaster, what a shame as well, because I really boasted this game. I don't know if you know, but I fell in love with the demo. I was like, oh my god, if this is 10% of the game, then with the 90% is going to be absolutely amazing. Well, it turns out that the demo was the best part of that whole process. We got more in the demo than I've got in Endgame, like stuff with armor and skins, and we got one of the best strongholds in the demo. I mean, the demo was probably better than the main game. What a fucking disaster, and what a shame. But I found a game today, and it's called Risk of Rain 2, and I love this series. I was a huge fan of Risk of Rain 1. It came out as a roguelike on both Steam and PlayStation 4. I thoroughly recommend you look at it. It's about $2 at the moment, and it's a side scroller. It's very different to this game, but of course it exists in that vein, being a roguelike and being a game that heavily revolves around perks and loot. Let's have a look at it because it is completely crazy. Now you might just think straight away, whoa, like these colors and stuff and all these numbers and all this stuff going on. I get a massive Borderlands vibe with this, and you might be thinking, are you playing as Johnny Five from the 80s? Well, this is a playable character. I've just recently unlocked him. There's actually up to 8 characters. By the way, this game is only available on Steam. It's not available on PlayStation 4 yet, but it will be. Trust me, it will be, and it will be co-op as well. Now, let's just talk about the visuals, of Anthem, and this is the biggest thing that breaks my heart. This game is stunning. This game is so good looking. I still can't get over how good looking it is. It really is a glass cannon when it comes to its visuals, because that's quite literally all we've got. When we look at the visuals of Risk of Rain 2, you're probably thinking you've lost the fucking plot, Coop. But you got to trust me on this one, because the depth of this game is mind-blowing. The amount of perks and stuff that you can unlock and get during a run. So remember, it's a roguelike. So you start from the beginning from every time you play this game, and you can see these little icons on the top of the screen. These are little things that I've unlocked. By the way, it's fucking well hard. The game also has a certain amount of procedural generation. So there's different bosses at the end of each stage. Basically, the stages are open maps. They're closed maps, but they're kind of open arenas, if you know what I mean. And the boss trigger will be in a different place each time you spawn into the map. So your first job is to look for it. Your second job, or vice versa, is to actually get powered up, to find these little cases and spend the earned cash that you've killed people with on the opening the box. And then the box will have a random perk in it. Sometimes it's the same one. If it's the same one, it's brilliant because it stacks on top of the one you've got. There's all kinds of craziness. There's drones that actually heal. You can see that green line coming from me there. There's drones that are missiles. There's drones that basically fire for you, that help you. There's also perks that just make the enemies bleed, make them come on fire. You can see I've got a consumable there that pulls them into like this black hole that allows me to use my hotkeys. Now this is another thing, is it's got a set of 4 hotkeys. Each character's got different hotkeys. Man, they're awesome. Their cooldown is really quick as well, so you're stacking these up, you're remembering them, you know which one to go to, you're freezing an enemy, stunning an enemy, following up with a big blast. It's so good. This game is so good. I cannot get over it, and it's still in beta stage, or alpha stage rather. It's on Steam. You can play it. Go and grab it, because it's like 53 dirham. In Dubai, 53 dirham is the cost of a beer. A pint of beer can cost 60 dirham. Anyway, I speeded this up because I thought I better get some Anthem footage. Fucking hell. So the box is full. You got to go to the vault, man. He's like, no, you need to go to your own vault in your own workshop thing, and then you need to start deconstructing, because you can't actually go out on an expedition till you've done this. I mean, what a ball ache. I hate shitting on this game, I do, but just playing it is a headache for me at the moment. Anyway, back to Risk of Rain 2. So the maps also come in random different order. So there's like a desert map, there's like a snow map, and what you can see here is that I'm actually fighting enemies that are kind of the same depending on my rank. So over on the top right hand side, can you see there's a thing that says medium to hard? So the longer you're in a stage, so it's the double-edged sword, the longer you're in a stage, the harder that it gets. That meter ticks up. If you're in the stage for like 5 minutes, it's going to stay on easy. If you get to 10, it's going to go to medium. If you keep buggering around and hanging around, it's going to go on hard, and things are going to get a lot more difficult. But you have to weigh that up with the fact that the longer you're in a stage, the more stuff you can get, the more things you can unlock, the more badass you can become when you take the boss on. So you'll kind of like, you'll find the boss teleport point, and then you'll be like, oof, actually I'm not powered up enough yet, let's have a wander around, let's unlock some stuff, and then let's go back. And then, but you have to weigh that up with being in the stage too long and triggering the boss in hard mode. It's such a clever idea. It gives you all these options and risk and reward stuff that never stops paying off. You know, it's very clever. Another thing about this game is that no playthrough is ever the same, and that's so important. A lot of people might not like roguelites or roguelites because of the fact that you have to go to the beginning every time and it gets a bit samey. One of my favourite parts of this game is actually in the early stages, where you're using your dash and your roll and you're using your abilities to actually stay on that knife's edge of being alive. But you can get incredibly powered up on this game and it becomes a bit of a breeze. Elmar, you'll probably be aware of that because he came around my house and finished Risk of Rain 1 in one sitting, and I was like, holy shit, are you kidding me? So it's interesting, and it's also multiplayer, okay, online multiplayer. But what I'm very, very keen on finding out on is whether it's going to be a split screen game for the PlayStation 4. Okay, I haven't tried the online multiplayer yet. I'm going to this afternoon. I just got so sucked in to the single player. Like, I am 110% addicted to this game. It's ridiculous. It's staying on my laptop for as long as it takes. And it works very well on a pad. Because I'm a console gamer, I like the pad, you know, I like to just go to it and it fits perfectly. So let's talk about one of the redeeming things about Anthem for me so far, and one of the major deficiencies is of course the weapon variation, and one of the things that Risk of Rain 2 is just pounding it on is the fact that everything changes on each playthrough. There's individual weapons to gather. You're always coming out with a different fire mechanic. You might get a double jump, you might get, you know, a quick reload, you might get a quick cooldown. It's just never the same. But with Anthem, as we all know, it's just same old, you know, it really is, especially with the guns. But actually I got a Masterworks gun yesterday. I played with some mates yesterday, and it actually gets a bolt of lightning that comes down on top of the enemy. Now this was welcomed, really welcomed, to be honest with you, but gobsmacking that you have to get rank 30 to even get to these weapons. And I guarantee this is probably the most dramatic you know, special sub-weapon that's available to the Ranger, I imagine. I main as the Ranger. So that was one of the things that I just couldn't get up from, is the fact that the loot and loot system is just a regurgitation of everything that you've had previously in the game. There's nothing where you suddenly fall back on your seat and you think, oh my god, I've got an X, Y and Z, and then you play with it and the whole game changes. Risk of Rain 2 is just even switching the characters out from that robot to the standard commando that you start with. It's like having two different games. There's still two more characters that I'm going to unlock. One of them's a mage and one of them's like an engineer who's got turrets and stuff, and I just cannot wait to open that part of the game up. There's no part of me that is looking to open up any more of Anthem. So as you probably know, spoilers by the way, but there's 3 strongholds. The third stronghold you unlock is actually the latter section of the game. And let's go back to that Kotaku revelation about how they're having to dilute the main campaign content, recycle it and put it in as unlockable or strongholds. And that's exactly what they've done. The third stronghold is the end of the game that you have to play over and over again. And I did it last night with some mates, and you know, bless them, they had a good time. It was a grind. It was such a grind. It was horrible. You know, it just took ages. And yeah, I got some masterworks, and yeah, you know, everybody was happy, but this is not the game it could have been, not by any stretch of the imagination. Also, there's sort of unforgivable stuff still happening within, because it's an online service game. It kind of has these issues with, you know, enemies appearing and disappearing, and I can kind of cope with that. In early stages of a game, I can, especially if it's online. You know, you get glitches and stuff. But still, you know, after this long after the launch and after this many patches, to be fighting something like this and then have you know, this weird shit happen to you is just not on at this stage. This game cost me 80 quid. Risk of Rain is $15. Then, you know, lo and behold, they're back, like right in front of me, and I'm just like, and I'm out of my, you know, they knock me with a one shot and take my shield and energy down in one fell swoop, and you just, you know, you just take a deep breath, don't you? I mean, I don't think any of my listeners or any of the subscribers, Michael, John, Sean, need persuading about the disaster that was Anthem. I don't think you guys do, but I think you've probably slowly seen me crumble under the, you know, disbelief that something like this could be so unfinished and so diluted. You know, you've only got to look at the Monster Hunter World game to realise how content actually works and how strong an online service game can be. It can be incredible. You know, it can take over your life. That's the 500 hours I've put into Monster Hunter World. Anyway, after the Stronghold last night, which took us an hour, it took us, yeah, about 48 minutes to an hour. Obviously, you get your old unlock screen, and you know, any other game with putting that much effort in. It was Grandmaster 2, by the way, so we're all rank 30, we're all in the end game. The loot came in, and I was just emotionless for it. I just was, you know, yeah, of course, I'm unlocking a grenade. Yeah, but so what's a slightly stronger grenade than the other grenade that I've got? It's not going to have a different explosive pattern. It's not going to have a different element to it. Think about Borderlands 2, especially Borderlands 3, the way it's coming up. Remember how amazing those grenades were. Some of them were bouncing around, some of them homed in. You know, we've just got higher stats. That is all we have with the Masterwork stuff. Even the legendary stuff. So I'm just flicking through this thing. Normally I'd be like, oh wow, yeah, look at that, look at the skin on that, and it was just like, no, not happening. So, closing comments. Go and buy Risk of Rain 2 on Steam. It will come out on the PlayStation 4, okay? It's only $15. Come back to me and say you hate it, alright? And because if you've played Anthem and are just like sick to death of the damn thing and have got a bad taste in your mouth, this is perfect. If you hated Anthem and want a decent game to play now, this is the one. So see you down there, guys.